Welcome to the Book Carriers, your favorite book club podcast.
I'm Cassandra, the hopeless romantic book carrier.
I'm Angela, the logical book carrier.
And I'm Becca, the sentimental book carrier.
We are three 30-something best friends and busy moms who live vicariously through the stories we read.
So grab your cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's get lost in a great book together.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to the next episode of the Book Carriers. How are we doing, y'all?
We're doing good. We're here. We're thriving. Okay, maybe not fully thriving. I have a little bit of a cough and you can hear it in my voice, I'm sure. But I'm here. I am ready to have our little fun chat today.
Yeah, this is highly anticipated just personally for me because I'm a huge HP fan. And we've been talking about Harry Potter, somewhat in some capacity in past episodes, and so it's time we just have a little chit chat, give HP the credit it deserves.
Next week, you guys are going to see us take a deep dive into Manacled, which, for those that aren't necessarily familiar, it's a fan fiction based off of the characters in the Harry Potter world, Draco and Hermione. And so we wanted to make sure that we pay tribute to Harry Potter, which gave this author the jumping board to be able to make Manacled, gave her all of the influence of the characters, but also because there's a reason why we wanted to read Manacled, because we love Harry Potter and we love that world so much. I feel like it's something that the three of us all have in common, that we have all loved and has important parts of our own personal reading journeys.
And just a side note for any new listeners, we do have our Meet the Book Carriers episode, which was episode 10, I think the one a couple before this one. And we talk about our reading journeys. So we talk about a little bit of our Harry Potter journeys too. So check that out if you haven't already.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like Harry Potter's been sprinkled in.
Yes,
everything.
Actually.
Yes.
Probably from episode 1, we've sprinkled it in.
Yeah, it's hard not to, it's a foundation for our lives. And obviously it's a foundation for this author, but for Manacled is for her life as well. And so it's always nice to, have that common ground and appreciate it for its craft and what it is. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's exactly the right wording for it. We wanted to show our appreciation for the craft that is J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter world that she created. There would be no Manacled if there wasn't J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter world. So we just wanted to pay tribute to that. And I think, growing up, it was one of the books that I read with both my sister and my mom. It was what got my sister, who is a huge reader now, but she didn't really start reading until she was late into high school. She had no desire to, but because she picked up the Harry Potter series, she took off, and now she's a librarian, like at an elementary school, because she loves reading so much. So I think that in my family, there was such a love for the series. My mom and my sister, we went to every Harry Potter midnight release for the movies. We went to every midnight release for the books. We actually have on my shelves back here, I have my original Harry Potter books that all three of us would share. Like, we'd pass them all back and forth. And so it's such a special series to my heart. So I'm excited we're taking time to talk about it.
That is awesome, Becca. I did not know you had like your original books.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I only have 3 of my original set because my sister has some of the other ones. But yeah, they're real worn. They're real loved. There are pages like coming out of them because they've been through all the moves and all the whatever. I have my original bookmark. I remember using this bookmark. We had a Harry Potter countdown.
Wow.
And so I have the calendar rip off from, I guess, October 20th, whenever the book came out, and stuck it in here and used it as my bookmark. And it's still in here. So I had a guy friend, one of our best guy friends, shout out to Gilbert. He came over the other day and he saw these on my shelf and he was like, "Are those your original?" And it made him cry thinking about my mom and these books. And so special place in my heart.
What a time that was, and how special it was for us to just like experience that. The books releasing, the movies releasing in tandem. I just don't know of anything that has matched that feeling And I'm just so glad and grateful that we were able to experience that. And that was part of our life, part of our childhood into adulthood.
Yeah. I think one of the beautiful things about Harry Potter, and maybe one of the reasons it's so special for us, is because we grew up with the Harry Potter characters. It's like we were similar, maybe not the exact ages. I don't know. I'd have to like tap.
We were very close.
Yeah, just you can relate to the characters a lot more, maybe, and so I think that's the other beauty of it, just like growing up alongside the characters.
Yeah, and I think that just this series really was our first taste of a book community that, you know, where we could go to the midnight releases and go to the parties and all the things and all the merch. And, you know, it was just, it really was and taught me that there was and could be a sense of community around a book. It was such a beautiful time and I miss it. And I think that other, you know, franchises have come close, like Twilight and things like that. But
yeah, it's been so long since I've seen, you know, just lines of people waiting for a movie, for a book. That's been a while. So
oh my gosh,
it was so special. No other way to describe it.
Yeah, it was magical. You can say.
There you go. That's better. Go with Becca's. Another memory I have of Harry Potter, it was just such a craze. It was everywhere. Books, movies, everywhere. Was also PlayStation video games. Okay. The releases of those, like, and we would get those every Christmas. I think we played up to the third game, to the Prisoner of Azkaban. That was a time. Okay.
Yeah.
Learning the spells and pushing specific buttons to do the spells. So fun. Playing Quidditch. And I had to talk about that because then there's also the Hogwarts Legacy that came out. I don't know if you guys knew about that game. Personally, I'm a little bit of a snob because the games, the PlayStation games, hold a very special place in my heart. But obviously the Hogwarts Legacy dives super deep into it. You can choose whichever house you want to be in. But I will tell you that my husband has played that game multiple times. He's beaten it for each house. So
wow.
Yeah, there is a world out there. There is still the Harry Potter, you know, craze is still there.
It's so interesting. Like it started as like a book community, but it's like gone into other communities. So you're talking about like the gaming community, but and then if you keep going, it's like amusement park community. But that's like how entrenched like Harry Potter is to like our culture at this point.
I have thought about getting Hogwarts Legacy, but when I talked to my husband about it, he's like, we don't have time. We don't have time because I will sit there and I will be all in it and it will become my personality. And so we wanted to, of course, continue on with our Harry Potter love and just to pay tribute to Harry Potter before we move too deep into Manacled. So the first one we wanted to do is what house would you be in? I mean, I think that's like one of the most like common questions every Harry Potter fan asks themselves and asks their friends. So I'm curious to know, even though I know both of yours, but let's tell everybody else what our Harry Potter houses are.
Well, what is it? But really, what's the why behind it?
Yes.
Why?
So for just a refresher, let's talk a little bit about the houses, what they represent. So we'll start with Hufflepuff.
Right.
Hufflepuff, they're the sweet, lovable, kind, all-inclusive, just warm. Their colors are yellow. They're the badger.
And they have a little bit of a chaotic energy too.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
a little bit of the chaos.
Everywhere.
Yes. And then of course we have the infamous Gryffindor. We all know they are the most loyal. They're always going to fight for what's right. Gryffindor, they're the lion, right? And then we have Slytherin, the little sneaky snakes. And they're just, you know, they're bad. They're the bad boys, which is why we like them. We like Slytherin boys. Their colors are black and green, with a snake, of course. And then you've got the Ravenclaws, and they're a little bit more on the studious side, a little bit more like, you know, buttoned up, and you know, a little bit more on the, you know, judgy side, I would say. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what houses we think that we would be in. Cassandra, go ahead.
All I can tell you is that I've taken many a quiz. And You know, everybody did. Everybody wanted to know which house they would be in.
Of course, yes.
And you kind of like change your answers, but at the end of the day, it's always going to find you. It's always going to know who you are.
The sorting hat is gonna find you.
Yes, it doesn't lie.
No.
It doesn't lie.
No, so I got half and half mixed reviews. I got Hufflepuff / Ravenclaw. However, I will say even though the quiz says Ravenclaw, I'm a Hufflepuff like through and through, just ready for a good time. The Hufflepuffs are there. They were always vibing, just in it for good times. Happy,
Yes.
positive, loving, excitable. That was me. Is me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so I got to wear my colors here, my Hufflepuff colors.
So I think that totally tracks with your hopeless romantic book carrier
Yeah.
tag
Yeah.
too. Becca, you go. What's your house?
I identify with everything except for Hufflepuff. I would I feel like I would have friends in Hufflepuff, but I could not live amongst them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just in mass, I guess is the best way to describe it. But
What's wrong with Hufflepuffs?
Yeah,
What you got against
what's with
Hufflepuffs?
I don't want to offend anybody. Okay.
No.
Like,
you already have, Becca. Just say it.
okay, let me put it this way. I don't think Hufflepuffs would be very accepting of me. Let's say it that way. Like, I think that they would be like, you are not cut out for the Hufflepuff life. Because I think if I'm provoked, I could be violent. You know? I mean, like...
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? And, like, that's what makes me think, like, I'm probably... Like, if somebody came up to one of y'all and was messing with you, I wouldn't even give you a chance to defend yourself. Like, I would be pushing you out of the way and, like, swinging before or, like, yelling before. So, like, I will always defend. But I'm like that for the people that I love and the people that I care about. I don't know how much I would do that for just anybody on the side of the street. So that's what makes me think, like, I'm a little bit more Slytherin than anything, because, like, for my people, like, I can be as evil as I need to be to protect them. But I also feel like I'm a little Ravenclaw because I can be a little bit more, like, on the judgy, like, a little bit more appreciative of, like, literature and the arts and things like that. So I think that I borderline between Ravenclaw and Slytherin. And Angela, you went to London one time, and I'm going to tell you this because at the event you said you were like, I don't know who you would be. And it kind of hurt my feelings because whenever you went to London and you were going to get me something from, like, the Harry Potter, whatever, like, you brought me home a Ravenclaw notebook. I don't know if you remember this or not. I have it over there.
What?
Right here. And you brought me a Ravenclaw, and I had never voiced that I felt like I was Ravenclaw, but I always kind of thought that I was. And then you got that for me, and you were like, you would totally be a Ravenclaw. And I was like, okay, like, done.
I'm a Ravenclaw.
But then we go to this event, and you tell me you don't know, and it has me questioning my entire identity. Like, entirely. And now I'm like, well, what am I? Who am I?
What do you think, Angela? Do you think Ravenclaw? You got her the journal.
Did you find it? That is so cute. Oh my gosh.
That is cute.
Oh, look at that.
I love it.
You think I would ever not have this?
That is so cute.
I haven't even
That's
written in it.
awesome.
I won't write in it.
Aw. It's like decor piece at this point.
Yeah.
I was going to say, whatever house has the people with, like, the best memories, like the memory retention or whatever, that's what house you belong in, Becca, because your memories are, like, top notch. Because ask me if I remember I do remember going to London. I do not remember going to a Harry Potter thing, and I don't remember buying you that notebook. Which is insane to me, but I'm so glad I'm such a good friend and did that.
Okay, I think I know which house you would be in, Angela.
Slytherin. Shocker. Oh my god. This has been my identity for the last 10 years. And you don't even remember doing it to me.
But it's But it's more speaking about my character and lack of memory retention, not you.
100%. This is on you, but I can still be offended by it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you still managed to give yourself a compliment from it. So go ahead, please. Tell us what house you're in, Angela.
Oh my god, I'm dying.
Yes, I think y'all are right. It's Slytherin. I'm all for it, especially because we're talking about Draco today. So
she's like, I'm going wherever Draco is, so it's fine.
Yeah, I was like, I guess I'd be hanging out with Susan Bones.
Wait, what?
Susan Bones is a Hufflepuff, no?
Oh my god. Cassandra.
Wait, who's Susan Bones?
And
what?
We could still
You
all
don't know
be
who Susan
friends. You're
Bones
not
is?
stuck with Susan Bones.
No, I don't see it as being stuck with her. I feel like we would be good friends.
Okay, that's why
You
you're a
know?
Hufflepuff. I mean, that right
I feel
there.
like we'd be good friends. And yes, Hufflepuffs are like, everybody part of the party. We're accepting of all.
Yes.
So we would be friends. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
My main would be Susan Bones.
No.
Wait, you have to explain who's Susan Bones. I'm
Come on.
serious. Who
I'm
is
sorry.
it?
I have to apologize. I've seen the movies so many times.
I'm looking it up right now to give you a synopsis. so
She's
you
the
can-
little sweet redhead. McGonagall's like, Susan Bones.
Oh.
And she goes up there and she sits and she gets sorted and he's like, I know,
She
Hufflepuff.
She was a half-blood witch and a Hufflepuff student at Hogwarts. She was a member of the prominent Bones family, a family with strong connections to the British Ministry of Magic.
See?
Mm.
That's my friend.
That's so funny.
That's my friend.
Yeah.
Aw.
I'm very curious about what was y'all's favorite book and what was y'all's favorite movie?
Mm.
Do you have a favorite?
Yes, I have a favorite, and it's the same movie and
Yeah?
book.
Oh,
What is
okay.
it?
Prisoner of Azkaban. Hands
Oh.
down.
Oh.
That's why it's one of my ones. I would never let my sister take this from me.
Aw.
I wouldn't
And that's why
either.
it looks so loved, because I've reread this one so many times.
Yes.
And the reason that I like it so much from the book perspective is because, like, Sirius Black is the, like, villain in it for 75% of the book, right? And it was nice having a different bad guy than Voldemort. It changed the pace a little bit. I thought that the book's pace was so good. I loved Black as a potential villain. I loved that he ended up not being a villain. And then the movie, I think, they switched directors between the first, second, and the third. And I thought the production of the third was just unmatched. It was just such it did my favorite book justice, being also my favorite movie. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Valid. Super valid. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that because I agree 50% of the
Yeah.
way. Okay? Because, and this is also, I do have to say, the reason I'm so happy to hear that is because I haven't read past the 5th book.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have the entire scope. But my favorite book, Prisoner of Azkaban, obviously same reasons as you. I loved all that dynamic, Sirius Black. I also loved that it was the first time Harry had that sense of family.
Yeah.
And I teared up. I definitely cried. And I hadn't cried like that for a book before. And it made me feel something. So
Yeah.
loved Prisoner of Azkaban book, my favorite book. I have the illustrated version. Look how beautiful that is.
I love that.
So we have all of the illustrated versions, honestly, but that's why I picked this one to show you guys because look at that.
Ooh.
Oh
Beautiful.
my gosh, how
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, so favorite book. I had the first 2 movies, and Christopher Columbus, he was the director of the first 2. I feel like he did such a good job with those. And then there was just such a big difference in between those and the third that it got really dark really fast. And
Yeah.
for me, I was still more into the Christopher Columbus style. Now, I will say my favorite movie was, and I don't know if there was a different director between Prisoner of Azkaban and this one, but Goblet of Fire. Okay, I have a new appreciation. If you haven't watched Goblet of Fire in a while, watch it again, especially as an adult. watch it again. It's like they're still so innocent, but they're still getting into some of that darkness of the Harry Potter world. And I felt things. Okay. I will say well, come on. We have, what's his name? What's Edward Cullen? Robert Pattinson.
Cedric Diggory.
Cedric, yes.
Which he goes by all three. So
yeah. That's why I was like, everybody's gonna know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
But his
such a cutie pie.
Yes. Oh, he was so cute.
Yeah.
And he was just being so helpful. Oh, my gosh. His dad. My boy. Oh, no. So yes, y'all, I saw this. So this is a little tip out there, a little hinty hint out there for Harry Potter lovers. If you have the chance, and this is for you too as well. If you have the chance and there is an orchestra / visual concert where you can go to where you can see the film, but it's a live orchestra. Have you ever been to one of those before? At least with Harry Potter?
Not with Harry Potter, no.
It was so good.
Whoa.
So emotional, such a different experience. It hits, and it hits different, and it hits good.
Wow.
And we went to that recently. We saw, and I hope, I looked it up, and they're not going to be back for a while, but if they ever come back, I'm going. I don't care what movie it is, but it's where they have the movie on a huge screen, and there's an orchestra playing the music for the entire, the composition of the entire movie.
That's amazing.
And so it was so good. Sound effects, like with their instruments, especially as us band nerds, I had such an appreciation for it. It was so cool. Cool.
That sounds lovely. That sounds like a great thing to go do.
Yeah, I didn't even know that existed. So that I would totally love to do that.
Yeah, I have to go again. So yeah. Angela, do you have any thoughts, feelings?
Well, my favorite book, it's so interesting that it's y'all's as well, because I remember as I was reading the series and stuff, I kept always going back to the third one, and it's this is my favorite, and it's the same. I mean, y'all spoke about it. It's because of Sirius and his character and everything that does to the plot. So yes, totally agree with that. And then as far as the movie, and I don't know if I said this, but I need to rewatch the movies because it's probably been maybe a decade since I've seen the movie. So it's been a I know it's been really long time. And
too long.
And it's because I'm not a huge movie person. I'm not a huge TV person either. I don't really consume a lot of that media. But I guess I would have to say, the final movie, just because it's so, climactic and everything, and it all comes to a head, and it's just it's so good. So I have to say that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Cassandra, why are you laughing?
I didn't know if we were going to talk about that far into the movies. Do you guys remember when we were at the theaters for the movie and Voldemort's little body was just cradled like Harry Potter, he was casting the spell, and Voldemort looked like a little chicken wing? Do y'all remember that?
Oh my god, talk about a memory unlocked. I remember distinctly laughing at that.
He's a little chicken wing. We talked about that too. I don't know if you remember.
Yes.
But
no, I remember that.
I think the entire theater had the same the entire theater had the same reaction.
Oh my god. I cannot believe that you rememred that. But yes, I remember that.
Funny. I don't remember that.
Honestly, that's all I remember.
Do you remember anything, Angela?
No, I don't.
Spoken like a true Slytherin. Y'all, this wasn't supposed to be this much.
But that's why we hold on to each other. I'm Becca, help me remember.
I'm I'll tell you where we were, what we were wearing, what we were doing.
Exactly.
Which car I was driving at the time.
Yeah. You're more like a Ravenclaw. I'm seeing it more and more. You pick up on all the details, and you get a diary in your mind.
Yes.
It's fun.
So we want to keep going with a little bit of games. We always do this with all of our series, and we want to do what's the actual name of the spell? Can somebody tell me or demonstrate it for me?
Kedavra. Avada Kedavra. Come on. Okay, so I'll speak it correctly. Avada Kedavra.
Okay, so Kiss, Marry, Avada.
Avada.
No. Ma'am, no, ma'am. You might as well say abracadabra, Becca.
Okay, we'll say it slowly so I can learn it. You literally, okay, I'll say it correctly. So you can, I'm like, well, how did I? I'm still not gonna say it.
Okay.
Say it again. Slowly.
Avada
Avada
Kedavra.
Kedavra.
I don't know what you said, but it wasn't that.
Okay. Roll the tapes back because I said something close
Angela,
to that.
did I say it right? Hold on, now question.
Avada
Kedavra.
The Slytherin should know the death. Whatever. Okay. How to pronounce death?
Oh, come
on.
I said
Harry
it
Potter.
absolutely correct. Okay. It's Avada Kedavra. Am I going to be embarrassed?
Kedavra.
No, you said it right.
Okay,
just not.
That is not so far off from what I said earlier.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Kiss, Marry, Avada Kedavra.
Kiss, Marry, Avada. We're calling it.
Kiss, Marry, Avada.
Why didn't we say that from the beginning? Why'd you make me do the whole thing?
Well, no, we did.
A Hufflepuff would not want to embarrass me like that.
I'm sorry. See, I told you I'm half and half. I'm Ravenclaw too. The judges.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry. Sometimes my 30% Ravenclaw comes out, so I apologize.
30%.
Get back.
Okay, so I think that I would kiss Draco. Like, not in the sense of Manacled, which we'll get into in a little bit. Like, I want the at Hogwarts hasn't had, like, his mark yet. Like, I'm just here for a good time, but I'm a bad boy, Draco. So that's why I'm like, you would be, like, a good time for, like, a makeout sesh. I don't want anything more with him. I don't want to marry him. I don't want all that baggage. No thanks. Honestly, I would marry one of the Weasley twins.
Oh.
This tracks with my Riddick answer from the Fourth Wing. Like, I just want somebody who can, like, make me laugh and, like, we're having a good time. And, like, I would get the Weasleys as my in-laws, like, a loving, caring family, you know? And, like, and they are, like, they're Gryffindors, like, they're brave, they're gonna take care of me. But I will say, before I read Manacled, I probably would have said Ron Weasley. But now I've read Manacled, and I don't want that anymore. Like, my perspective has changed. Okay?
Yeah.
And also, because I love Rupert Grint, like, growing up, I had such a crush on him in the movies. I don't know what it was, but I, like, loved him. And so that's probably partly why. That's who I was picturing in the books whenever I would read them too. Who would I, Avada? Did I say that right? Cassandra?
Yeah.
Avada. I mean, Lucy and Malfoy. I mean, Voldemort's the easy answer, right? Like, everybody's going to kill him. But, like, Lucy and Malfoy immediately. Dead, done, get out of here. Sayonara.
Yep. I love it.
What
love
is
it.
your face for?
First of all,
what did I do wrong? Are you going to seriously get on to my pronunciation of Lucian?
It's not Lucian. It's
Lucius.
It's Lucius. I would accept Lucius or Lucius.
You would accept?
Yes. I don't accept Lucian. I don't know who Lucian is.
Oh, Lucian, you're thinking of another character.
Is that Akatar?
Yes.
Oh, Lucius.
Okay, now
I'm
I'm gonna step in and be a mediator over here.
Okay.
Okay.
Who knew?
Who knew?
How the tables have turned.
I know. I seem to always be one of the ones fighting, though. So what does that say?
It's okay. One day you'll be a mediator.
I know. I can't wait for the day that y'all fight. Okay.
That's kind of
okay.
Okay.
I put next. Lucian, and I meant Lucius.
Lucius. Yes. Lucius Malfoy.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I could see it.
I can't believe I did that, but
it's okay.
He's so like such a minor worry of mine that I forgot his full name, but Malfoy.
Yeah.
The old Daddy Senior. Malfoy would be dead.
Papa.
Okay.
Papa Malfoy.
Mm-hmm. Gone.
Dead.
Mhm.
Dead.
I like
Those
it.
are my answers.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, I'll go next. Okay, I'm gonna kiss Crumb. Y'all remember Crumb? Is that his name?
Victor
I don't even know his
Crumb?
name. Yes, Victor Crumb.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Yes.
visitor, the foreigner from the other university college.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, just kiss, just have a nice night out. You know, he's top of his class, right? Like, just let's see. Yeah, so he's my kiss. Then marry. I'm with you with the Weasleys, Becca, but not the twins. I would want to marry. Is George? I think George Weasley, like the oldest, the one who's
George
like
is one of the twins. You're
Oh,
talking
no,
about,
okay.
You're talking Charlie.
Charlie,
Charlie's the
yes.
oldest.
Charlie, the one who's like off with dragons or something.
Yeah.
Yes, him, and he's like he has his wife Fleur or something.
Yeah.
No, that's.
Oh
I think.
gosh, I need to.
No.
No. Okay, Cassandra needs to take a break. This is getting out of control.
I'm
You
just
don't
saying.
have to be right
Y'all are hurting me.
about everything. Okay, let us talk it out before you start yelling at us. My
Oh
gosh.
my gosh, I did not know.
Wrong. Wrong.
Well, I'm just saying, if I don't say it, somebody else out there is gonna. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this.
Oh my god.
The side that Harry Potter brings out in Cassandra.
For real? I'm like, who is this? Okay.
Charlie is not married to Fleur. I don't know who he's married to.
Bill.
Bill's married to Fleur, but Bill is not the dragons guy.
Who's the one with the dragons?
Give me a second. Charlie Weasley works with dragons, so you would want to be with Charlie.
Yes.
Yes.
And who's he married to?
Let me see. I don't think anybody.
Okay, good. Because it's me.
I don't understand why that's your answer.
Because of the dragons.
Yeah.
I get it. I get
badass.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
How are you not marrying
100%
Draco?
get it.
Because this is Draco from Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
The Harry Potter world.
Ah.
Like Draco's a little not. Yeah, a little bitch ass.
Yeah.
Just say it.
In the
Say it.
Harry Potter world.
Okay.
In the Harry Potter world.
Okay.
We're talking about Manacled, it'd be something different.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. That is so fair. Okay, so you want to be with Charlie working with dragons.
Charlie
Yeah.
Weasley. He's badass.
Okay.
He's not
I
married
like
to
him.
anybody.
Sister-in-laws. How
What?
fun would
Yeah,
that
that'd be so
be?
cute.
Yes, that would be so fun. We'd fight all the time. And
Seriously.
That would be great. Yes. Who's
Okay.
the favorite?
Who's the
Okay.
favorite in-law?
Yes. Okay. Cassandra, are you also marrying one of the Weasleys?
Wait. Before
She hasn't told me who she got.
I know.
Kedavra's.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Okay,
You Avada
I'm
Eve.
gonna Avada Aunt Petunia.
Ooh, that's a good
Ooh.
one.
Yes,
one.
because she is the orchestrator of all the pain.
Yes. No.
Wait.
Snaps for that. That's a great answer.
Angela, please.
She can't be wrong about that, Cassandra.
What happened?
She's not wrong.
Do you mean orchestrator of all the pain?
Yes, of all the like terror and trauma. Like she's the one like who coordinates it and like. Well, I thought maybe
I
not.
think you're talking about Professor Umbridge.
No. At home for Harry Potter.
Okay.
The Dursleys, yes.
Sorry.
Aunt Petunia.
Okay,
Okay.
no, you're
Get
right.
your
You're right.
Stop.
Get your Ravenclaw.
Coach.
You
I'm
need
sorry,
to
I
stop.
Call
Right.
down your Ravenclaw.
Settle
For
down.
real.
Settle down.
Jesus.
Hilarious.
Cassandra.
Well, now I'm just saying. Now you know why it's a 50-50. Like
Yeah.
now
I
it's
think
now
it's
it's
more than
50-50.
50-50. I think you're a freaking Ravenclaw. You're a Ravenclaw who like wants to be nice, but you're not really all that.
Oh my gosh, that is accurate.
Oh,
See?
so now you're a Ravenclaw.
I'm just telling you, I really never knew why I got the classification for Ravenclaw, but now it's kind of making sense.
Yeah, it's playing out in front of your eyes. Go change your shirt.
But Angela, are you done speaking
to
about
wrap,
Aunt Petunia?
to wrap up my thoughts.
I'm so sorry for the interruption.
Good.
This is such
We
chaos.
neither of us could get through our answers, which by the way, this is an opinion-based game. And she said that we were both wrong. Like, if that ain't Ravenclaw, I don't know what is. Okay?
Oh gosh.
Angela, please continue. Cassandra, hush.
This is so chaotic. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's perfect.
So yes, Petunia, I'm gonna Avada her because honestly, if she wasn't in the picture and if it was just Mr. Dursley or whatever his name is, he'd be like an absent parent at best, maybe a little neglectful, but not like inflict actual pain and stuff and trauma.
Right.
So
yes. Yeah. I mean, she had such hatred because it was her sister's kid. Like it came from her. So that is such a fantastic answer.
Yeah.
Top notch.
I mean,
notch, Cassandra.
I said yes.
I mean,
yes.
if you want to get far into like the HP fandom, then if he didn't have Petunia, then he wouldn't have like the protection of like his mom's love or whatever, you know? Because isn't that the whole reason he was placed with the Dursleys, because it was like protected or something until he was like of age?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
By blood, because Petunia's blood or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So we took a little moment, right? And
yes.
We had to regroup. Cassandra had to change her shirt because we have officially sorted her into Ravenclaw. Despite what she thinks, clearly if this episode has been any inkling of an insight into our friendship dynamic, you are a Ravenclaw. Okay,
I can see it
all. So let's continue with our new Ravenclaw. And who is your Kiss Marry Avada?
That was perfect, Becca. Good job.
Yes,
Thank you,
that
finally.
was perfect. I'm gonna start with my Avada Kedavra, and I'm going to Avada Kedavra along the same lines. I'm gonna Avada Kedavra Aunt Marge. Y'all remember her? She just made me so angry.
She irritates
in the worst way. And then to visually see her blow up as a balloon, it was such a payoff. So yes. So I will kiss. My kiss is Lucius Malfoy. You have to let me explain, okay?
What?
This is as an adult speaking as an adult, okay? I see a man and he's got beautiful hair. Gorgeous hair. Okay, I feel like he's misunderstood, okay?
Can you go put your yellow shirt back on, please?
What in the world?
What do you mean, what in the world?
How is he misunderstood?
Well, I think I want to say this is because I got a new perspective for him definitely in our fan fiction.
Okay.
And
You're not helping. I don't think we've
not
read the
helping.
Same book.
Yeah, okay. Well, he gave up everything for Malfoy with no questions asked.
You couldn't think of anybody better than Papa Malfoy?
Y'all, Papa Malfoy, okay, Papa Malfoy in the movies is attractive. He's attractive. Yeah, he's not attractive. Okay, that's rude. That is rude. That actor is so attractive. So I would kiss Lucius Malfoy. I think that we would have a really good time because we would do each other's hair. Like he would let me brush his hair and stuff. And I think that's I think that's the biggest part of why the attraction is there for me, because I just want to touch it. Like I honestly don't really see what the issue is.
Cassandra,
I don't see what the issue is.
It's like that would be at the bottom of my list of people that I would expect you to say.
Okay. When you explain the hair thing, I get that. I get the
to
hair
me,
thing.
that's the biggest thing is I just kind of want to rattle him. I want to rattle his hair up and then just like brush it and then straighten it.
So you want to kind of have a play date with him,
Yeah.
Like just like a
100% yes. I see it. That's kind of how I see it. Yeah.
Okay,
I see it as like we're innocently like kissing and we're like, I'm messing his hair up and then we're gonna spend some time afterwards. Just quality time, just doing each other's
Self-care
hair.
time. Have
Yeah.
some self-care. Okay. Okay.
Like I said, I don't really know what the issue is. So then my Mary is a Weasley.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
We're
so
all
we
We're
sisters.
all
all-
gonna be sister-in-laws.
So yes, I would just do Lucius Malfoy's hair on the side, but eventually we'd all be family. We'd all be family because who doesn't want to be part of the Weasley family?
Oh my god, Molly and I are judging you so hard.
Okay, literally, if I could kiss and marry the same person, I would, but I can't. So Lucius Malfoy is my kiss.
Okay.
If I could kiss and marry the same person, I would kiss and marry Bill Weasley. Okay, Bill Weasley. And there really is no extra explanation.
Yeah,
I love
that's fair.
The actor Domhnall Gleeson. He's got his little like scar on his face.
Yes.
I'm just super attractive. Always was super attracted to him in the movies. So
That's like
me
such
and
a
Bill.
valid answer. I
Yeah.
still don't understand your previous one. Like
Lucius.
Like
What?
how those two answers came from the same mind. I don't
What?
understand.
Well, I just wanted to follow the rules. I can't kiss and marry the same
but there's
person.
so many other characters, Cassandra.
Yeah.
It's the hair, Becca. It's the hair.
The hair.
I
The
picked up a
hair.
trend here. Cassandra mentions hair every single episode. In
Yeah.
our Fourth Wing Iron Flame episodes, even Onyx Storm, like you talk about how it's so
Oh.
sweet where
The hair washing.
Mhm. And
You
Zayden
have a hair fetish.
I
You
do.
Did you know
I
that?
do.
Oh, she knows
I-
this about herself. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, is it weird that I just am attracted to like his beautiful hair?
It's not a common thing,
Okay.
I think.
I'll say like, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing for me.
Okay, so
Whew.
we've gone through all of our little Harry Potter games and trip down memory lane, but now we want to get into Manacled, and which is the book that we will be covering next episode. But we wanted to take some time to talk a little bit about the author, a little bit about the book and what to expect. And this was actually Angela's pick. This was something that she started and got us all involved in. So
yes, and so I just want to share some fun stuff that I found out. And so reminder for our listeners that we have already recorded our Manacled episode, and so during our recording we had a question like, is the author a mom? And yes, the author is a mom. And actually, what's so interesting is when she was writing this fan fiction, she was actually writing it in her notes app during her postpartum period. Like she had just had her daughter, I believe. And so it's interesting. She talks about how when she would like nurse her daughter or like during feeding sessions, like she would just kind of write in her notes app during that
Wow.
time.
I could totally tell because I was like, there's no way for like, because I pictured her as like a teenager writing. And I was like, I don't know how she has that depth to describe all of the struggles and things that Hermione goes through as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
But she does that very well. And so that
Wow.
makes a lot of sense.
And it was also because she was in her postpartum period. And, you know, I think we all know what postpartum is like, and it's very difficult. And your body is going through so much mentally, emotionally, physically. And, you know, it's rough most of the time. It's a journey. And so it's interesting how this came about throughout all of those changes that the author was going through. So maybe it kind of speaks to kind of the tone of the fan fiction and why it has the tone that it does.
Wow.
And by the way, her on-screen name, I don't think it's like her real legal name, but she goes by Sen Lin Yu. But she has dedicated so much time like to Manacled, and Manacled isn't her only fan fiction, but she has a handful, maybe like 10 or so. So she's very dedicated to, you know, the Harry Potter world, and I think she dabbles in like a few other ships. But definitely her focus is Dramione's or Draco Hermione fan fictions. I feel like she's so dedicated to her craft because if you look her up on Tumblr, it's at her name, Senlin Yu, and she answers like all of the fans' questions, and she is so in depth with her answers and the way that she talks about the story and the characters. Like you can tell that she is so invested in them, and she like believes in the story. But like some questions are like, are Hermione and Draco, are they actually happy? Do they ever get married? And the author will, you know, take their time and say like what she thinks like the characters would do or say. You know, we don't get to see that from, or I've never seen that from published authors. But it was such a fun aspect to see, like her delving into the world with her fans. And I guess that's like the fan fiction world.
Yeah, it's so much more accessible. Like they don't have to, go through like a publishing, like going through their agent or whatever. So they just have so much more freedom to speak and to keep the characters going, and what a dedication, like, to your fans, like knowing how much this means to people and being willing to give them the answers.
But she also has boundaries because a lot of fans, you can see on her Tumblr, she gets a bunch of questions like, hey, will you ever write Manacled through Draco's POV? And she's honest. She's like, no, like I don't have the inspiration for it. And if I did, like it would be, I think she even said something along the lines of like, it would be even too much for me, especially during the first scene, the first like Handmaid's Tale scene. Somebody asked her like, would you do that chapter in Draco's POV? And she said no, but this is like kind of what he would go through, and it would be like absolute turmoil for Draco during that time. And she'll give like bits and pieces of details, but she's like, that's as much as I'm willing to say, because I don't want to go down that emotional path. Like it was already hard enough writing Hermione's POV.
For her to have that sense of community with her readers, that is so cool. Love that.
Yeah. Another interesting tidbit that I think is important to know is, as she was releasing Manacled, it was getting released in chapters. And so it wasn't like a full long, publication. And so that explains some of the, comments that we had about like actually reading the book and what our experience was like. I think that would have been helpful for me to know, is it was just released in chapters.
It's like watching a TV series. Like they're going to reference things because you may not have seen that since the first episode, but whenever you're binging it like we did, you're like, I just read that 10 minutes ago, whatever. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
Because you don't know, I guess you wouldn't have that information about like how long people had to wait between chapters and stuff like that. But if it's a certain amount of time, of course they're going to forget.
Right.
So makes a lot of sense that she would dedicate that time to build that up again.
Jog the memory.
Yeah.
But the last thing that I wanted to mention is something that I also wish I would have known about Manacled before I was reading it. Somebody sent her a question about like, hey, this person made a TikTok about Manacled, saying that you romanticize sexual assault and that it praises sexual assault. And like, did you intend for Manacled to come off this way? And so the author does a really good job of explaining, like I can't police how people interpret things. She's seen some creators say that they just skim Manacled and then they have like these huge opinions. And so she doesn't agree with that. But Manacled, in her opinion, she says, in my opinion, fundamentally, Manacled is a dystopian horror story and a tragedy. It is not a romance. It is romantic in certain Gothic romance regards, but it's not essentially a romance. And so I think that would have been so helpful for me, like to go into reading Manacled with that mindset instead of, because I went into Manacled reading it as like this Dramione, like this is going to be a romance, like enemies to lovers, and that's what I was expecting. And so I think that would have been super helpful for me to know that the author's perspective of like what her work is.
Yeah, I totally see that. I totally see the tragedy element of it. It is so tragic. And she spends a lot of time just building that up.
Yeah.
And so if you were to skim it, you probably wouldn't be able to see that. But it's so tragic, especially for Hermione. Neither of them wanted that. And I love that she also included that, in the beginning of the chapters, those trigger warnings and things like that, to kind of warn against that. We get into that in the episode for sure. But yeah.
She was very respectful as an author. I think she's respectful to the people that were reading it, that she's not romanticizing this. I agree. I think that it would have been helpful to know. I was like, where's the fire? Where's the romance between them? This is just sad. I think it became very evident though, as I was reading it, that this is not what I had a perceived notion or like perceived idea as to what it was going to be. She makes it very clear pretty quick. But I am interested to read more fan fiction for Draco and Hermione that's lighter. I don't know if I can read much more fan fiction with them because I don't like my idea and perception of these characters to change. But yeah, it's heavy.
But it's meant to be dystopian.
But it's meant to be heavy.
Yes, dystopian horror tragedy. She says that people are usually dissatisfied with the epilogues because they don't do the things that readers expect to feel at the conclusion of an epic romance. They're not supposed to because it wasn't. And so I had that comment at Manacled. I'm like, there wasn't this moment of like, oh my gosh, we finally made it, and you know, we're at the happily ever after, and I can like breathe and enjoy. And we never got that, but we weren't supposed to because this isn't a romance.
Yeah, have some proper expectations of how you're gonna feel at the end of this, because no, I felt the same way. I was like, wait, I just read 3 epilogues. I didn't even realize I was in the epilogues. Like, is this the end? You know, so yeah, it would have been helpful.
But I think that adds to the whole tragedy element of it, and like the payoff. I think there's a little bit of payoff at the end, which we do get into in the episode. But if you can just stick with it, if you can stick with the tragedy, if you can stick with the horror element of it, I do think that, you know, you find in the epilogues that payoff.
Yeah.
And I didn't appreciate it until I got to the epilogues. I questioned, do we need this? But I have so much appreciation for that.
Yeah, so it was so much fun, like checking out her Tumblr, and she answers a million and more questions, and it's so fun. And you guys should check it out if you know, if y'all are interested in it. But yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys.
Okay,
you know, going along with this Manacled phenomenon, my main question is like, what is this draw to Dramione? As somebody who didn't read the entire series, I've seen the movies, but as somebody who didn't read the entire series, you know, that is something that I could totally see, and that is something that I'm interested in. I'm intrigued by Dramione, the Draco and the Hermione love relationship of it all. But I want to know what you guys think. What is the draw? What was wrong with, you know, Ron and Hermione? Why do so many people want to explore that Draco Hermione aspect? I want to know your thoughts.
I think this is from I can speak from my own perspective. As somebody who grew up reading and watching Harry Potter, right? As a kid, right? We all said like we kind of grew up into it, right? And I think at the time, like friends to lovers is great. Ron and Hermione, that trope. But then we get older and our book loves change and our desires change. And I think honestly, it just that enemies to lovers, like that tension. And I think that J.K. Rowling played on it a little bit, and that like Ron and Hermione, they were kind of like an old married couple. Like they loved each other, they had deep love for one another, but they did bicker, they fought. But this was like a Draco and Hermione, that's like a real enemies to lovers. Like you're on different sides of the war, right? Enemies to lovers. And I think that readers that now are older, we want that tension, and those are the type of books that we read now. So it's like that's the one thing that's missing, you know. And so the fact that we were given this on a silver platter of like, here you go, like here's your, you know, fantasy fulfilled, I think that it gave some depth to that like romantic aspect that was just missing from the series. I think that we as readers want now as adults.
But yeah, Becca, I completely agree. You know, enemies to lovers versus friends to lovers. I think there's a bigger payoff or reward going from enemies to lovers instead of just friends to lovers. It's intriguing, it's exciting, it's fun.
Yeah, because the only perspective I really have is the movies, because like I said, I read to the 5th one, and so I didn't read about Ron and Hermione, you know, ending up together and the progression, because I know in the books they go into a little bit more detail, but the movies they don't have much time to. But that love interest, that it just didn't, for me, I didn't really think it was strong. But that you're absolutely right, it's intriguing. And I love that you said they're on the opposite sides of this giant war, and how hard that must be for Hermione to feel that way about somebody.
Right.
And then you have the perspective of the movies, and you know, when you watch them, you're like, Draco's a jerk. He's an absolute jerk. And so for there to be that, you know, that twist, that hatred turning into passion, it's just interesting. So
the whole mudblood and pure blood. Like that's like
Yes.
perfect.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Missed
Perfect.
opportunity on J.K. Rowling's part, like honestly.
Seriously.
But that just wasn't her focus. You know, she wasn't,
Yeah.
this was not a romance series. I mean, that was,
Right.
you know, she sprinkled a little bit in for, you know, that, but that wasn't her focus. And I think probably anybody, if they were to write the series in today's time, Malfoy and Hermione would end up together. And I think that in the books, you see a little bit more of the Ron and Hermione like bickering side. So it is friends to lovers, but it's not good friends to lovers. It's like, we both love Harry, so we're going to put up with each other. And then they end up, you know, kind of falling in love. So it is a little bit of enemies to lovers, but not on the same level as what Draco could have been.
Yeah, their characteristics of like Draco and Hermione, it's like they're both maybe more so driven and like wanting to achieve and hardworking versus like Ron and like the Weasleys, like they're more maybe homebodies and just wanting to, you know, have kids and raise a whole bunch of them and just be cozy and homey. And you know, that's like, I don't see Hermione doing that. You know, I see Hermione like, you know, solving world hunger or whatever it may be. And so for her to be shipped with Ron, it's like, you know, does that really work?
Yeah. Yeah. They have very different drives.
Yeah. And the fact that Hermione was so book smart and always at the top of her class. And it wasn't hard for her to be good at school. I think that was another thing that he just hated about her. It was like, why is she just so good?
Right.
But it's just so that just like building to that relationship there would have been interesting.
But this kind of speaks around like why the fan fictions have like been so popular.
Yeah.
And there's a Dramione sub on Reddit, and sometimes I'll look through like the comments and the posts on there, but they're like, why can't I stop? Like I can only read fan fictions. Like I can't pick up another romance novel. Like what's going on? Like what's wrong with me essentially? And all the commenters were saying it's like, because with Draco and Hermione, like you already have all the world building, or I guess with fan fictions in general, so you already have so much backstory like to the characters, so it's almost like easy to pick it up and you don't have to like build this world or get to know these brand new characters, and it's just they're there and you just pick up and you take off. And so that's why like fan fictions are so popular.
Somebody else does all the world building for them first.
Yeah.
Not in like a negative way, but just like, you know, they get to just do kind of like the fun part after that, which is why it's fan fiction. I mean, we've known these characters for 20 plus years. It's like going home whenever you pick up and read about these characters. So yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So,
But good question, Cassandra.
Great question. Well, this has been so much fun. And I think that we've had a great time. Harry Potter is always a fun topic for us. And Manacled is a great topic for us, which you will see us discuss in lengths in next week's episode. This is going to be kind of our flow that we have. We are going to do some like book yap episodes, and we'll introduce the next book. And then the next week after that, we will dive into that book. So that way it gives everybody a couple weeks to read the books that we're going to discuss and gives us time to chat about other things beyond just the book. So that way we can keep you guys up to date with things happening over on Book Talk and things happening in our own personal lives and all the things. So we are so excited that you guys have stuck with us on this journey. We are having the best time. So thank you for every listen, like, comment, and interaction. And we will see you guys next week. And that's a wrap for today's episode of The Book Carriers.
We hope you enjoyed diving into this week's read with us as much as we did.
Thank you so much for joining us on this literary adventure. Your support means the world to us.
If you loved today's episode, don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind-the-scene fun, and more bookish content.
And if you're feeling generous, please rate our podcast 5 stars. Your reviews help other book carriers find us and join our growing community.
Remember, we'll be back with a new episode every week, catching up on our latest read.
Until next time, keep reading and living those amazing stories.
Bye for now.
Happy reading.
I've been called to the pages, and it doesn't take long.